Hey everybody, welcome to our conversation class today. Today is Friday, May 30th, 2025. We're in week 8 of our quarter at Approach. Can you believe that? It's almost our final exams. So, today we have advanced conversation class with me, Ellen. I'm going to talk today about books and reading and how that can help us improve our English. So, my friends, we have the QR code here. Please join us. If you can watch on YouTube, you can watch later, you can watch now, you can still participate at home, and you can join us on Zoom. So, it's great, it's good practice. We have our friends waiting on Zoom. In a few minutes, we'll let them in and talk about books and reading. So, my friends, again, if you're home, you can still participate. Still, I encourage you, this is still a great way to practice English. And even if you're not an advanced level, that's okay. We have other classes on Monday through Friday that are beginner and intermediate and advanced. So you're welcome to join any class we have. All right, so let's let our friends in on Zoom and see what they have to say today about books and reading. Hello, my friends. How are we? Hello. Hey, Yogesh. Hi, Amar, Larissa. Hey.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Yogesh. It was a great day. For those of you that
Uh,
don't know, I got married last Sunday. It was a great day.
yeah,
And now I'm married. So, very exciting.
yeah.
Yeah. How was your weekend,
Congratulations. I'm happy.
Yogesh?
My weekend is pretty much similar to previous week. I just be at home, I
Yeah,
study, and then I eat, sleep. Nothing
I
else.
know.
Come to these classes.
Study, study, study. When will you
Um,
graduate?
I'm not studying to graduate. I'm already graduated. I am
Ah.
preparing for exams,
Oh,
like
okay. I
prom
see.
exams. So
Makes sense.
that's why.
When will you take those exams? Do you know?
I just filled the day form and date is expected to come out soon. They have not mentioned the exam date yet.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you good luck on that.
Thank you.
All right. Larissa, Amar, how are you guys today? I hope you're doing
Hello,
well.
teacher. I'm
Hello.
doing well, but in Brazil today is very cold.
Oh, really?
And yes, and
I
it's not usual.
Oh,
This
I believe it.
I
Where
think
in
she
Brazil
knows
do you
better
live?
now.
Larissa, where in Brazil do you live?
I live in São Paulo.
Okay, and it's cold in São Paulo today? Wow, that's
Yes, it's
crazy.
10,
Oh
10
my gosh,
grams.
wow, wow, 10 degrees
This,
Celsius.
this normal it's like 24.
Yeah, wow, that is cold. Well, here in Massachusetts near Boston, it's not so warm, but we're getting warmer. In Fahrenheit, today is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's going to be summer for us soon. It's spring going into summer. And in Brazil, you're in the southern hemisphere, so it's really fall going into winter. Though Brazil doesn't have a cold winter. But there are some days in Brazil that do get cold, definitely, especially in the south. Wow, well, I hope it stays a little, gets warmer for you. Omar, how
Yes,
are you
I
today?
prefer this weather.
Yeah.
I am with blankets and pillow.
Oh, it's so cozy and
It's always fun.
comfortable. Yeah, that's amazing, Larissa. Well, I hope you can enjoy. Omar, how are you?
I am doing great. How about
Amazing.
you?
Good, good. Good,
How
good,
about your
good.
marriage?
Very good, very good. Thank you. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It didn't rain because recently it was raining so much in Massachusetts.
Thank God.
It didn't rain, thank God. It was a great day. It was perfect. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Was
Thank
it
you.
open wedding or closed wedding? This is
It
venue.
so it was in our friend's backyard. So it was actually more closed. It was a private home, but it was just our family. It was very small, like not so large, not so small, but not large. Like I have many aunts and uncles and cousins, but we will do another celebration later because also his family is from Brazil, so we want his family to be able to be here too. So this was like a small part one of getting married, and we still did many of the traditional things. And then later, when his family comes, we'll have a celebration with everybody. Yeah.
I
Hello,
hope you
my
a happy
friends.
life.
Yeah, thank you so much, Omar. Thank you so much. So, my friends, today, what I want to talk about is books and reading. Now, I've chosen mostly to talk about fiction books, but we can talk about more than fiction, all the different genres of books as well that are nonfiction. So, I'm somebody who always loved reading. I loved books, I loved reading, and we know so many people around the world love reading. There are some people that don't love reading, and that's okay. Not everybody has to love reading. But I also want to talk about how books and reading, especially in English, can help us learn English, improve our vocabulary, improve our writing, learn grammar. There's so many things that we can learn from reading. So, my friends, first of all, do you like to read? I want to ask you. Do you like to read? Yeah.
I must say that I am in between. I am not a book reading enthusiast.
Mhm.
Also, I am not someone who doesn't read book at all.
Yeah.
So if I am getting bored and I like to, if I don't have anything, if I see a book, I will open and read 1 or 2 pages.
Mhm.
I don't have more capacity than 2 pages. So
I
I
get it.
need
I
something on journal.
understand. Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes we don't have the interest or the focus. We're thinking of other things. Definitely. Anyone else? Do you like to read?
Yeah, I also like to read. When I was, child and when I was young, so I used to read fairy tales. And if I see such book around me, I still love to read those kind
Mhm.
of books. So I love, kind of fictitious books,
Yeah.
and I also love reading love stories.
Oh, so nice, so nice. That's amazing. Thank you, Tulsi. Anyone else? Do you like to read? What kind of books do you like to read?
I like to read the comic books,
Yeah.
like, and I don't know how is the number, the name in English. It's Diário de Banana, the dumbest book. I don't
Mm.
know.
No, like
Wait a minute.
I'm not sure, but I'll search it. Can you type it in the chat so that I can search later? That would be so helpful.
Yes.
Definitely. Yes, you guys definitely also please write in the chat your books. I want to hear from you too, but I want to have the chat so I can look later. Definitely.
The name is Diary. Yes, Diary of
Ah,
Wimpy Kid.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Yes. My sister, those books in the United States are very popular. Yes. Yes. Amazing. Vaibhav, did you want to share? I believe you're muted.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm listenable, audible.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so I love to reading. I read a lot, and I have a lots of books also. Like this is book. I think
Yeah.
Jonathan Haidt. This is Edge's Generation. I love it. I
Wow.
love all kind of books. Like maybe they are fiction or non-fiction, and and like I like also, you can say that they are related to public affairs and journals. I like that.
That's amazing. Thank you, Bye Bob, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yogesh, you said Gulliver's Travels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Those are, and they made, we can also talk about books that are made into movies. They made a movie a
Um,
few years ago with Jack Black, the actor,
mm.
about Gulliver's Travels, I believe.
This book was prescribed by CBSE, which is board which conducts examination from like first class to higher education.
Mm-hmm.
So they have prescribed this in my elementary school. So I remember this. I never
Mm.
studied that by reading,
Yeah.
but yeah, to pass the exam, I know the story, but I don't know, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, that's
I know
good.
that.
That's good. Sometimes when we have to read for school, even if it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we enjoy it. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, for me, I have read many books in several topics like mental health, self development, some novels,
Mm-hmm.
development of social relations. Yeah,
Amazing. Wow. So cool. I love that,
yeah,
Omar. I think it's good to have a good variety that you like to read.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I
And about
agree.
habits,
Yes.
the most useful book I have ever read was Atomic Habits
Ooh, we know that
by
one.
James Clear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
popular here in the United States too. I've heard that name before, definitely.
yeah, because this book taught me the habit of reading.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
That's if you're not
this is the
if
first
you
book
don't like to
I
read
read.
or if you're not a big reader, you need to turn it into a habit. I
Mm,
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
this is the first book. This is the first book I read in my
Wow.
life.
That's amazing, Omar. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I see Tulsi Panch Tantra. Please correct me.
Panchtantra.
So cool. I've never heard of that before, but now I want to look it up. So these are
I think it's
Indian
discontinued
comics,
now.
Indian fable stories.
It's discontinued, I think so.
Oh, maybe I can find on the internet somewhere and learn about it. But very interesting. I want to learn more. Rosa, would you like to share?
Yes. Hello, teacher Elizabeth.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hello, are you? I'm fine, and you?
I'm great.
Hello.
Rosa, what is your
Okay.
favorite book to read?
I like to read the poetry,
So nice.
adventures book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
I'm now reading the Da Vinci Code.
Ooh, very nice. That's a very popular book.
Yes. I would like. Yes, yes. And I'm a writer too. I have two books from.
Hmm. That's amazing. So you like to read
Yes.
poetry.
I'm a writer.
You're currently reading the Da Vinci Code. Amazing. Do you guys, has anybody else here read poetry? Do you like to read poetry at all? It's a different kind of reading, you could say. It's different than reading a novel, but you can still enjoy reading and writing poetry. Definitely. Mara,
or
go ahead.
what poetry?
Hi, hello.
Hello.
So I like to read books. I like to read fiction,
Mm-hmm.
romance. I like to read poetry, some kind. Like before, I used to read a lot of poetry. Today, I don't read so much,
Mm-hmm.
but I used to. Um, I like not it's not horror, but it's
Mm-hmm. Thriller, maybe?
yes,
Yeah.
thriller. So yes, I like reading.
I love that. That's amazing. And you bring up a very good point, the difference between horror and thriller. Horror is usually something that's very scary, but thriller is just like a lot of adrenaline and maybe not scary, but uh, afraid in another way.
Yes, and
Definitely.
so one of my favorite books is The Bluest Eye.
Oh, yes. I've read that book before.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
It's an
one of my
older book.
yes,
Yes.
it's a book. But I love it.
That's
And
amazing. That's so cool. You guys, I read when I was in college, I was an English major. And an English major in a United States university does a lot of reading and a lot of writing. And so I read so many books. It was like so many that I didn't want to read anymore for some time. I needed a break. So I definitely, but I still have a lot of books I didn't read, for sure. For
yes.
sure. Amazing. Virginia. Virginia, would you like to share?
Yes, teacher, sorry. I
That,
didn't know that I was not mute.
that's no worries. That's okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Yes, well, I like to read about spirituality.
Yes,
There's
read about spirituality.
my favorite book is Imitation of Christ because it contains a lot of spiritual meditations to be disciplined, to be charitable, to be useful, in
Hmm.
general, no? Yeah, I like to read step by step. I also like to read about the life of important people, or people who have made
Yeah.
contributions for the society.
Yeah.
Or perhaps life about, for example, Anne Frank, the lady of Anne Frank. I consider is very interesting. No?
Yeah.
About historical people like Beethoven, or those kind of genre, no? Historical. Because
Very cool.
yes, because when I read about them, it's like a way to go to their times,
Yes.
how how it has been described
Yes.
their life, because it describes the landscape or the places where they were, and it's like a disconnection, no? In that
Hmm.
moment. No? Uh,
Definitely.
yes, and at the same time, I try to read in English.
Yes. That was going to be one of my next questions is have you guys read a book in English and do you enjoy reading in English because that's a little different than reading in the first language for sure.
Exactly, I like to read this in English
Yeah.
because that way how we could associate my knowledge, my
Mhm.
English that I've been learning throughout times, and at the same time learning.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Virginia. Thank you. My friend, she brings up a great point of we need to read in English to improve, for sure. Uh, so, have you guys read a book in English before? Some yes, some no. That's normal. Did you read a book in English before, or did you read in your first language?
The second step.
Mhm. Not yet, but after this class, I will. I love that. I love that. That's amazing. And there are many books that are, because one of the things that we worry about is, for example, when I'm reading in Portuguese, because I'm learning to read in Portuguese, it's very slow for me. I feel like a child almost learning for the first time because we kind of are. But it doesn't mean that you are stupid. It doesn't mean that you're a child or anything like that. There are many books. You could read a children's book if you want, but there are also many other books, passages, texts that are still for adults as well. So don't feel like, oh, I can't read in English because it's just for a child. No, there are so many options for adults as well. So something that we have here at Approach that I love to use is from Oxford University. We have books that are for adults learning English. So they're not written with child language. They are written with, depending on the level, more simple or more complex language. But it's the same story. For example, a Sherlock Holmes story. So super important to start learning, to try to read in English even a little bit every day. And translate so then you can understand everything as well. That's okay. So, Yogesh, go ahead.
Um, my academic, I have read only English books which are written in English only.
Mm-hmm.
I have read the other books other than I have read in English only. I
Mm-hmm.
do not remember that I even read a single book which is in my native language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
English
think
is a language.
oh, go ahead. It's okay. You can finish.
English was a language which was imposed to us to get more familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So I have read all the books in academics or other than academics in English only.
Yeah. I was going to say it depends on where you're from. So if you're from India, where they do have English as a main language as well, a language in schools, a language in film, mixed with Hindi or other Indian languages, then you have a lot of exposure to English. But if you come from another country, perhaps, maybe you don't have the same exposure. Definitely so interesting depending on where you are from, the colonization potentially of the country, and all of those things. Definitely.
It depends. Right.
Larissa, I read The Fault in Our Stars in Portuguese years ago. Yes, The Fault in Our Stars, I read that in English. So good, so good. If you can read it in Portuguese and then in English, you can understand already what the story is, and you can really use this to learn the language and the vocabulary. Definitely. I love to read. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I have a couple other questions here I wanted to ask you guys. I already asked the first two. My last question. Now we talk about books, but physical books, paper books. What about ebooks like on a Kindle or audiobooks? How do you guys feel about electronic books, audiobooks? Do you read them? Do you listen to them? Tell me. What do you think?
I like the physical books. I like the smell.
Yeah.
I like the touch. I think it's an experience, not just a
Yeah.
reading.
I understand. I agree. Many people that prefer physical books feel the same way as you. I agree. Anybody else? Do you prefer, have you ever listened to an audiobook before?
Mm, yes, teacher.
Yeah.
I listened to, but not the entire book, no, but
Mm-hmm.
partially. But it's good. For example, whereas I'm doing something,
Yes.
I love listening to that in English. Lately, I've been incorporated in my learning studies everything in English because it's a way how I could improve more.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I've been living in a Spanish spoken country, everybody speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
So I need to, as you told me, as you told us, expose to the language. And one of the ways is to listen to reading, doing something or everything in English. And
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes to use this option. Whereas
Yeah.
I'm doing something, I listening to these audiobooks. Oh, but then I go to, when I have no time, I go to the ebook,
Mm-hmm.
the version of the ebook.
Mm-hmm.
Or for
Definitely.
example,
It depends
when
on what you're doing. Do you have time to sit down and read a book? Or are you on the go, but you still want to read and you want to listen to
exactly,
an audiobook? Yeah, definitely.
yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Anyone else would like to share? Rosa?
Yes, teacher. I prefer to read a book, the physical, and I like to hear audiobook. I read than more than 10 book, but management
Wow.
audiobook.
Very nice.
And yes, and physical books in English, I only read at school.
Mm-hmm.
My first book that I like to read is Barack Obama, Dreaming
Okay.
for My Father. But, but it's too, the letter are too small. I didn't finish yet. I started a long time ago, but I didn't finish it because the letters are too small. It's small book, but the letters,
Yes. When you're reading,
That,
so when you're reading a physical book, sometimes the letters are so small. But if you read the ebook, then
yes,
you can expand, or if you listen to the audiobook. Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Sometimes I can't find the book that I would like to read. Like I said, this one I didn't find,
Mm-hmm.
but I will one day. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Yogesh?
Yes, ma'am. I want to speak on this.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I used to prefer ebooks to read because I used to think when I can read the book which is available as a PDF, why I need to buy a physical book and then read that. But later on, I got to know that physical reading is something which is different, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
book reading is more like physical reading and not ebook reading.
Yes.
So I preferred reading now physical book.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to audiobook, um, it's the same story. I used to listen to audiobook earlier, but I found the pattern that most of the audiobooks are auto generated. You know, like
Yeah.
text to speech, and it's spoken by a more like a robotic. So I
Y-
feel that so I felt that I cannot um, get the nuances of the native speakers in that. So I
yes.
stopped listening to audiobooks. Rather, I prefer English native speakers who are either experience sharing their experience, or someone who is sharing a book, a
Mm-hmm.
review, summarized book, like they summarize what they have read and what they learned from that book. I prefer that audiobook or listening to videos to improve my skill.
Amazing. Definitely. It
So
depends on the narrator of the audiobook. There are some amazing narrators, there are some boring narrators. So that's
yes,
important. And again, if you have time to sit down and read a physical book, it's almost always better. But we know how busy life is, and listening to an audiobook is definitely a factor of busy life and also inclusivity, for example, for those who are blind, though we do have Braille, of course. So amazing. Sumit, you would like to share? Go ahead.
Ma'am, if I talk about my personal choice, I prefer the paper books the most. The smell, the feel, there is a special kind of connection. When I turn the page, it really feel like I am learning something deeply. Plus, reading away from a screen feel better from my eye and mind. But honestly, each format has its own advantage. When I am traveling or want to carry less weight, ebooks are the best. I can carry an entire the library in one device.
Yeah.
And when my eyes are tired and I am short on time, I listen to audiobook. I like walking and before going to bed. So to be honest, I choose the format depending on the situation. All three have their own charm.
Amazing, Sumit. Definitely. The nice thing about an ebook, like a Kindle, you can have a whole library in your hand and on your phone. Amazing. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone else? I see Amanda. I really enjoy listening to audiobooks while hiking. Yes, yes. If you're going to be on a longer journey, walking, hiking, driving, listening to an audiobook is so perfect, I would say almost. Yeah. Amazing, my friends. Amazing. So, I wanted to ask, what are the benefits of reading in English? How can we improve our English level and our skill by reading English? You tell me first. Virginia.
Education for me has been very beneficial because
Mhm.
it's a way to expose more to the different structures, no? To the different words or even new words for me that I could understand the context better
Mhm.
mm, by association. Or, And when I don't really understand the word, well, I go to source. But
Mm-hmm.
in general, has been very advantageous for me.
Yeah.
Very useful. I like it. Besides that, I learn. Aside that I'm reading, I using my English, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like yes, for me, it's like another option
Mm-hmm.
to expose to my second language that I've been building. As it's not easy when we are outside of one place where everybody speak English.
Mm-hmm. That's
So I think
amazing.
it's recommended to incorporate in our
Yes.
schedule
Yes.
reading every day at least 10 minutes,
Yes.
10-20 minutes.
Yes, I agree 100%. Even if it's your first time reading in English, trying, you don't understand so many of the words, just looking at the words and seeing them
Exactly.
and getting familiar with them is so
It's
important.
true.
Yeah.
It's true, teacher.
That's amazing, Virginia. Yogesh.
I think the biggest advantage of reading book is you get to know new vocabulary. You get a new word.
Yes.
I heard from somewhere that learning learning English can be much more difficult if you don't have a right vocabulary. That means to now learn a new word is the hardest part in English. And
Mm-hmm.
if you go through internet and you search for word of the day and you somehow learn the vocabulary or the word of the day, and then after 1 day or 2 day you will not recognize the word or you will not get to the right word when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you learn from when you learn from a book is having a story to it, and the
Mm-hmm.
word which is placed there in by the author or the writer is
Yeah.
um, it makes more sense, and you can recall the word because you have heard that story and that word was attached to that
Mm-hmm.
sentence or the story, so it sticks with your mind. So I think learning vocabulary while reading, it sticks with your memory if you have
Yes.
a little bit sharp memory, otherwise it will work as well.
Yeah. For sure. Reading improves your vocabulary 100%. Um, it's so important to highlight, circle, search new words that you learn. And it gives you a chance to, for example, when you're reading fiction, learn descriptive language. Or if you're reading a news article, to learn journalist language and to kind of see different areas of writing. And it really is important when you said reading and learning a new word. Something I always heard was never make somebody make let me start again. Never make fun of somebody who is pronouncing a word wrong because they probably only read the word. They didn't hear it and they're just trying. Of course, we should never make fun of somebody if they're pronouncing a word wrong anyways, but it was when I heard that I said, yes, they're maybe pronouncing this word wrong because they've never heard it. They've just seen the word. So that's so important to learn. We learn so many words from reading. Even if we can't always produce them the most accurate way, we learn them, we know what they mean, and that's important. 100%, my friends.
It also depends from where you get the meaning.
Yes.
Most of the people still use dictionary,
Mhm.
physical dictionary, and you don't have the pronunciation for that when compared to when you are searching for the word on internet.
Mhm.
Now you have the word to listen to pronunciation. You can
Yes.
slow it down. You can fast. So it depends, and I agree with you that we should not make fun.
Yeah.
If we understand, then we should tell that okay, this can be
Yes.
pronounced it like that.
Mhm.
But if they are okay, then we should not make fun, right?
Definitely. And something that I also learned when I was in school studying for teaching English, I learned about teaching reading that students, for example, ESL students, should be able to understand 95% or more of the vocabulary, like minimum 95%. If students don't understand at least 95% of the vocabulary in that text, they will struggle more. And so that's also something that's so important in teaching English is a teacher should teach that vocabulary that might be more difficult before reading. That's something that's so important that they've learned through research in articles, academic studies. And that to me was mind-blowing when I learned that. I said, wow, they really need to know all the words before they can even start reading. And so it's the teacher's job to help them get there. 100%.
Yes.
Definitely. So I wanted to talk about some best-selling books, and I wanted us to practice our reading just a little bit. So this is also an opportunity not just for conversation, but for reading practice, because I love reading. So I have a couple books here. We're going to read some passages as well, and we will talk about what they mean. We'll talk about vocabulary. So first, one of the best-selling books of all time is Don Quixote. And this book was written by Miguel de Cervantes in 1605, so 400-something years ago, 421. My math is bad. Please don't. I'm good at reading, bad at math. So, have you guys ever heard of this book before, Don Quixote?
No.
This is your first time? Amazing. Good time to learn. Maybe some of us have, maybe some of us haven't. This is written by a Spanish writer and author. So this is, again, from hundreds of years ago. It's been around for a long time. It's a classic Spanish novel, it says, considered one of the greatest works of literature. When we say one of the greatest works of literature, what does that mean? Can you explain that?
I was about to ask you the meaning of literature.
Yeah. You guys, what is literature? What is...
Literature means books
Yes.
that are based on English literature. Can be
It
English
can
literature,
be.
can be Hindi literature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are the books actually, but depends. I mean, it is written in detail.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever language it is written in detail. What is subject it is into very very detail. Hindi literature also. So Hindi means Hindi like in India. So it is very deeply written. What is similarly in English?
Very interesting.
What is actually is in English.
Yeah. Thank you, Tulsi. So literature is any kind of books or novels, is how we refer to it in English. So a work of literature is a book, is a short story, is a poem. And so this is considered one of the greatest books of all time, for example. So,
it also has grammar, right? Literature should have their grammar.
Yes, it can. Definitely. Yeah. It has prose and syntax. Yes. So, if you've never heard of that book before, search Don. Now, this is Spanish, so Quixote. Here. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens from 1859. Do you guys know Charles Dickens? He's very popular in British literature. Charles Dickens is a famous author, and he lived in the 1800s. So we see here 1859. He lived in the 1800s, and he was British, and he wrote a lot about the struggles that British people were going through in this time period in regards to labor. It was the Industrial Revolution. There was a lot of child labor, many poor people. People would die very young. Charles Dickens wrote many stories. Also, if you've ever heard of A Christmas Carol, I love that book. It is a Christmas story. We also have Oliver Twist is another Charles Dickens novel. So search him. He wrote a lot of British literature. And this novel, A Tale of Two Cities, they've also made a movie about this before. It's a historical novel, it says here, set during the French Revolution. So a lot of these novels were talking about what was happening in that time. And the reason they're so popular still today is because we can see, like we said earlier, into this time. We can see what life was like for these people, that these authors are representing life through a book. So I have a paragraph here. I'm sorry if it's so tiny, it was a lot to read. I will read it for you. But I wanted to know if you've ever heard of this first line here. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Have you ever heard that before? If you have, it's from this book. And it's something that we say a lot in kind of American culture, joking like, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So this is a very long paragraph, but it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. That's a hard one. That's why I highlighted it. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct to the other way. In short, the period was so far like the present period that some of its noisiest authorities insisted on its being received, for good or for evil, in the superlative degree of comparison only. So, a lot going on here. It's okay if you don't understand all the words, but something that he's trying to do here is show comparison. Light, darkness, spring, winter, hope, despair, everything, nothing, heaven, hell. So this is a tale of two cities. It's a comparison. And I highlighted these two words here, epoch and incredulity. That's so hard for me because those were new for me. It's okay if you're learning new words in your first language. Reading teaches us so much, always. So that was one thing. So I'm actually going to skip this part. The next two best-selling books, and I'm going to ask you guys to read next. Somebody, I need a volunteer. First, we have The Hobbit. Have you guys ever heard of or read The Hobbit? Maybe, maybe not. And we also have The Lord of the Rings, which is a trilogy, 3 books. The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. Personally, these are some of my favorite books. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan, nerd. I love The Lord of the Rings, so I could talk about this forever. I have a tattoo for The Lord of the Rings. But if you've never heard of these books before, they are fantasy books. And they're set in a place called Middle-earth. They're written by a man named J.R.R. Tolkien. The Hobbit was the first book, and that was written in 1937. And it was like the beginning, the first story of this world, these creatures. The person is called the Hobbit. And this world that this man has created, a big one. After he finished that, he spent a long time, almost 20 years, writing 3 more books to tell this story. Now, we've had many movies made. In the early 2000s, we had the Lord of the Rings movies, some of my favorite movies. And in 2010s, 2012, we had the Hobbit movies as well. We had old animated versions, but J.R.R. Tolkien is a British author. He lived through World War I and saw World War II, and also made a lot of comparisons of light and darkness, good and evil, and good overcoming evil in the end. And you see here this little hobbit house. You guys, I'm a big nerd for Lord of the Rings. You gotta watch it. You gotta read it. I'm telling you. I actually listened to the Lord of the Rings on audiobook the first time I read it, because I really wanted to get all the feeling and emotion from the narrator that narrated the story that I listened to. So I need a volunteer. Is there anyone who would, I could have two volunteers. I could have the first bullet and the second bullet. Who would like to read this first bullet here? I wish. Tulsi, would you like to read? Go ahead, you can read here.
Yes. Okay. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo.
Thank you. Is there anyone,
Sorry.
or you can go ahead, you can finish actually if you'd like.
Okay, okay. So do I, said Gandalf. And so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is time that is given us.
Very good. So this is in the first book. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf. And so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time is given us. Now, the reason I chose this, not only because I love these stories, but this has an intense meaning. I wanted to ask you, this quote, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. What does that mean to you? Think about it for a minute. What does that mean to you? All we have to do is to decide what to do with the time that is given to us. Tulsi, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the author means to say, I think there is some condition where they have to take some decision. But they are saying, the author is saying that we have a limited time, and at this, what decision we need to take?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe I think that's what author is going to say.
Great analysis. I love it. I love it. So we don't know how much time we have, but we decide what we do in the time that we do have. So here, the idea is that Frodo receives the ring, which is the evil ring that he needs to destroy. And he wishes that this task didn't come to him. He feels so overwhelmed and so scared of this extremely important task to save the world, basically. And he's saying, I wish it didn't happen in my time. I wish this happened before, in the future. And his mentor, Gandalf, says, of course, me too, but everybody who sees this feels this way. And we still have to do what we have with our time. We can't change our time, so it matters what you do with that time. So I love that. There's so many good quotes from these books, you guys. And it says, my next question was, do you agree that some things in life are meant to be? Why or why not? Do you believe that things are fate or that they happen to us for a reason? Go ahead, Tulsi.
Yes.
What do you mean by meant to be?
Meant to be means, for example, fate or destiny, something that should happen, should be happening or should be together.
Is it a phrase or an idiom? Because in the last class we learned idioms.
It's a phrasal. I would say you could say an idiom. I would say, yeah. It could be an expression, but I think an idiom works as well. Yeah. So, do you think that some things in life you can't control? That God or the universe, that something has decided this needs to happen. So, for example, last week when we were talking about getting married, we talked about soulmates. People that are in love, they feel like their twin, their soul is together, connected, that they are meant to be together. So, do you think that some things in life are meant to be or should happen that is out of your control in that sense?
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe in that. I remember last year when I have to complete my thesis and I have to publish my research paper. So
Mhm.
for the first 2 months, like January and February, I was completing that thesis, but I was not able to complete that. But
Mhm.
in January and February, I was struggling a lot till the time I guess 20 February or later.
Mhm.
A girl came to our bench and she wanted to have friendship with my friend. So after that girl came to meet my friend, and we out of suddenly like in 15 days we made around 14 new friends in 1 or 2
Wow.
weeks. So I was not knowing what is happening.
Yeah.
Everyone was coming, we were becoming friends, and earlier I was sitting alone with my friend, and I was very focused on that work only, and I was not able to uh, relax my mind, and I was not giving my I was not
Mhm.
a- it was not I was not able to get the best output. But due to their I don't know the positivity or
Mhm.
their vibe,
Mhm.
I was able to complete that 6 months work in like 2 or 3 months. I was able to get my all results. I published paper, and then
Amazing.
I even submitted thesis also. And after that, like it was a 6 month semester, and after
Mhm.
and the sixth or seventh month, they all disappeared because their session was also
Yeah.
over. Their
Yeah.
course was also, they went
Yeah.
to their destiny or places. Now I hardly talk to 2 or 3
Huh.
people out of 14 or 15 people.
Yeah.
So I think they came to my life so that I can be relaxed mind, I can chill, and I
Yeah.
can complete my work.
I love that. I think so too, Yogesh. I agree. That's such a nice story. Some people come into your life just for a short time, but they make a big difference. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Amazing. Tulsi, is there anything you'd like to share?
I think you read my mind. So actually, it is a personal story. I mean, I had a very bad. I was in a very bad relation, I guess, earlier. So I went through suffering of a very bad breakup
Mm-hmm.
earlier. So I think on that time it was like very very difficult for me to
Yeah.
manage to handle the situation, and it was like that my
Mm-hmm.
life is nothing. So I think at that point of the time, I think at that time it was like very difficult. When I look back, I think I actually learned something from that relation, and I learned how do I trust, and what I need to see in human,
Yes.
and how do I choose my partner. I learned that, and from then onwards, I also learned how to take care of myself, because I was like very very into it. I was like very taking care of others.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned, no, I need to also take care of myself too.
Yes.
I need to love myself also. So I actually got to know the self love. I don't
That's
know. Am I
amazing.
audible? I think my
Yeah.
network got frozen.
That's amazing. I'm so glad that you could get past that difficult situation in your life. That's amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Virginia, would you like to share?
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, I agree in some aspects, not in our life, but because we have a free will too
Yes.
to select in some of the facts or situations that we can live. I know that there are experiences that maybe could happen in our life
Mm-hmm.
without looking for them. But if we have the ability, I don't know, to select, to accept, or to manage properly, we can at least to deal with them properly.
Yeah.
But I think it depends, because some of our situation could appear in our life without uh, looking for, but we are free at the same time to
Yeah,
select,
definitely.
to manage, to solve,
Mm-hmm.
to overcome, or to embrace. It depends on our personality,
Yes,
or
definitely.
our education at home. But
100%.
what at the end.
Yeah, I agree. That's a very good point. We also have free will. We have different personalities. We're different people. I agree. I agree. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you. And I have, we just have,
want to add
yeah, go
one
ahead.
thing
Yeah.
before the class gets ends. So I got this very lovely platform where you guys can learn, read books, online
Oh.
books, e-books,
Yeah.
and it is actually Indian. It has Indian books, South Indian books, and very lovely stories, like very short stories also. So kids can read.
Yeah.
We can also read. And it has very level-wise stories, like level 1, level 2, whatever level you are in.
Okay,
So I think
amazing.
you guys can check it out. I have sent the link in the
Oh,
chat.
thank you so much. We'll take a look in the chat. Amazing. Thank you, Tulsi. Thank you so much. I know you guys, we're almost out of time. It's crazy. I have some honorable mentions, as we say. Books that I wish we had time for, but now we're running out. The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince. Very famous French book, and it was translated in so many languages. That's for sure. Harry Potter, all of the Harry Potters, but one of the best-selling is the first Harry Potter. In the United States, we don't say Philosopher's Stone, we say Sorcerer's Stone, but it's okay. That's how I know it. It's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, but I know the world knows it as the Philosopher's Stone. And we know Harry Potter, so popular, so famous, sold around the world, still popular today. They're making like a new show on HBO or something. I'm excited. I grew up with Harry Potter. I loved Harry Potter growing up. Many people did. Many people still do. I wish we had time to read the descriptive language.
The story of J.K. Rowling is also very inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. She tried so hard. She sent her book many times to be read and chosen, and then she still tried and tried and tried. Definitely.
Right. It got 12 times rejected.
Yes. So if you guys have never read the Harry Potter books before, definitely read the first book. They are, of course, quite large as they go on, so it's a lot to read this kind of book in English if you're not used to it. But there are, again, audiobooks, e-books, so many options. So, my friends, let me see if there's anything else we got over here. So, my friends, thank you guys so much for joining us. It was great to see you all today. And next week, we have class every day. We have no holiday, like Monday through Friday. We're good. And something I wanted to hear from you guys in general. Are there any topics that you really want to talk about, that you want to hear about or learn? Can you send in the chat? Can you tell us? I want to know. Is there any topic that you would love for us to have on these classes? Because we have many topics, but I want to know from you guys what you want as well. Thank you, thank you. Farid, would you like to share?
Yes, teacher. So sorry, I don't tend to open my camera because
That's
it's
okay.
a little bit
It's okay.
broken. But the question you asked now, what is the topic
Yeah.
probably we can talk in the future? I one of the big issues I have is when I travel. For example, I have the opportunity in in 2 weeks to go to the in the Angeles in California, and the customer or when I enter to US, the police of, for example, the official, he asks what is the reason I go to visit US and what is the why for how many times have you came to stay to US and also I can understand a little bit the question, but I need to
Yeah.
be more friendly when I give the answer.
So working on understanding and answering questions that come from, for example, an interview session at customs immigration in the airport in the US.
Yes.
Okay, that's definitely something we can cover. Yeah, for sure. If you want to travel to any English speaking country as well.
Yes, sure.
Definitely. Amazing. Daily routines, I see in the chat, daily routines, debates on some topics, role play, add games. Amazing. More breakout rooms. Amazing. Perfect. Okay, thank you guys. I love it. Always let us know what you would like to see. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. All right? Bye. See you guys.